I believe health and wellness can be simple. It is the small things that you do every single day that truly can make an impact. Today, tune in as I tell you my wild story. Welcome, everybody. Dana here at Oily Hair Boss. You can follow me on all the socials under that tag. I am so happy for you to tune in. We are starting a new series, and I'm excited to bring this to you because I know for me in my journey, I wanted to see and know that there were more people that looked a little bit more like me. And so, this is a series that's near and dear to my heart. I believe more awareness needs to be brought to our communities around health and wellness. It is so taboo and it's a stigma. And I'm tired of having the conversations with people that unfortunately just don't know that there's better options and better ways out there. Just because our parents might have done it or just because this is how we were raised doesn't mean that it is the right way. And what I noticed is that many of us are blinded by traditions, society, or even just simply the way we were born. I'm on a mission to bring some change makers in our industry that have a story. So hopefully you will find someone that you resonate with and it will encourage you to start making simple and small changes. If you find value in this content, I implore you, please subscribe, share, like, comment. I want to hear from you guys because this truly is a platform not just for myself, but for all of you to learn, grow, and thrive. Wellness truly is all of the components, whether that's our mental, spiritual, physical. Um, all of those things encompass a beautiful space where we can create and we can be more than what we are. And I believe that by sharing our stories, it's going to be, of course, around the Young Living story. But what I really believe is through these stories, you are going to hear people that have been searching in the health and wellness field, and they have found solutions, and they have found community, and they have found their space. Okay. So, for those that don't know who I am, I just want to take a moment to first and foremost introduce myself. I'm going to, this episode, tell you a little bit about my story. And for the next weeks to come, you're going to get to hear other change makers and interviews with people that I brought on, and so that you can hear their story as well. So, as mentioned, my name is Dana at Oily Hair Boss. I absolutely love the field and world of beauty. I have been a licensed esthetician now going on for about 17 years. It is something that truly is an amazing faith that I have been able to grow, create, and really explore. So for many years, I owned my own spa. I worked at high-end spas in the Birmingham and Bloomfield Hills, Michigan area. And I realized at some point that I really wanted to get more into the education piece. For me, my wellness journey started years and years and years ago. I actually grew up very sickly. I had a lot of health challenges. I remember when I was going through puberty, having issues when it came to managing just even my cycles and things like that, and just not understanding exactly what was going on in my body. And of course, we went to medical professional after medical professional, and we tried all of the things under the umbrella to figure out. I actually twice overdosed on pain meds. My body size, not understanding how medicine worked. And unfortunately, there's so many side effects when it comes to it, and many people fall victim to that. And so what I realized and what the world around me helped me to appreciate during that time is to really get to the core issue of the problem. So I no longer walk through health with why me, but what is causing this, and can we get to the root cause? And let's start there and move forward and move ahead. And as I started doing that, I realized that there were so many natural things that we could just simply do in order to speed up those processes. Which brings me to when health and wellness and Young Living, I always say, was reintroduced into my life. So Young Living will be celebrating 30 years in next year in 2024. Okay. And so this is a company that has been around almost my whole life, y'all. almost my whole life. And I actually found out that when I was younger, I was exposed to Young Living oils. So in the journey of trying to find some health solutions for myself, we saw holistic doctors that actually used Young Living in their practice. And so we started incorporating oils and herbs and all of these other modalities in our health and wellness. And so because this was kind of how I was raised, this was just normal to me. So where most people would have medicine cabinets full of medicine, I had oils. And as I moved into the beauty industry, it only made sense to incorporate oils and those type of things in my practice, because not only did it elevate my practice, but it also left something for people to continue to receive benefits from what I do by retelling it. So I was first reintroduced to Young Living through my sister. So my sister Tashina, at the time we were living together, or actually no, we were not living together during that time. Actually, this was a little bit further along, but it's funny, when we were living together, I was always the holistic one. I was always the one using natural things, making my own detergents, deodorants, my own makeup, all of the things or whatever. So when she first came to me with this, hey, I've been using oils, I'm like, what's the catch, right? What is the scheme? Because I'm the one that uses natural stuff. This is kind of strange, of course, that now she's bringing this to me. So her very first party was at her home. At the time, I was just getting back into the workforce, working at a spa. I had just had my son. With my son, I was on bed rest with him for 5 months. When he was born, he was very, very sickly. He was colicky. He was not sleeping through the night. I did not get any type of rest. And so this was probably he's maybe about a year old at this time. And so I'm really trying to navigate and figure out adjusting back to motherhood, trying to adjust and figure out how to manage working again and all of these things. And unfortunately, during that time, we were not in a good financial space either. So because we weren't in a very good financial space, I didn't have the bandwidth to really dig into anything deeper. So when I came to Tashina's party, it was after the presentation. It was after all of the pretty things and all of the information. I come in, and what I do is I actually just start grabbing pamphlets. Okay. So I start grabbing pamphlets. I said, let me do my own research. Again, I'm already using oils. Now they're telling me like the grade of my oils isn't as good as the ones I'm using. So let me do some research. And I did. I did my own research. I called the companies that I was using. I called Young Living. And it was just a breath of fresh air to know that there was a difference and that there were a company and people out there that actually genuinely cared. That night, my sister sent me home with little sample bottles of Peace and Calming. Peace and Calming and Valor were some of my first gateway oils. They both are oil blends they're proprietary, so you can only get them with Young Living. You will not find them anywhere else. And I remember with Peace and Calming, I took that sample, I gave my son a bath that evening. And remember, this is the son that never slept through the night. And he is frantic, splashing excitement and everything. All of a sudden, I stopped hearing any type of sound. And of course, any good mother, I'm like, oh my goodness, my baby is drowning. What is going on? I turn around and his little head is bobbing. And so he's bobbing and bobbing. And I'm like, what is going on? And that night was the first night that he slept fully through the entire night. And I was like, wow, what is going on? And again, these are only samples, but I said, if that did that one night, let me try it again. And so the next night I did it. And then the next night I did it. And I did it until that little sample was all gone. And what I realized is it didn't take away some of the health challenges that my son was having, like his eczema, his asthma, and any of those other things. But what it did is for the first time give me hope. Because I was like, first time my son slept through the entire night. And he still to this day asks for his sleepy time oil, which is Peace and Calming. And it has a way of working synergetically with his body in order to relax him. And so for me, I knew at that moment that there was something different. There was something different from an emotional standpoint, from a mental standpoint, about not only oils, but Young Living essential oils. And so at that point, I started testing out what I had. And I would take my lavender from over here, and I would use the lavender from Young Living. And I would test and see on different clients that I had, what are the different results? And I fell in love with Young Living skincare. They had the best skincare out there. And let me tell you, I've worked with high end ones, y'all. I have worked with brands that people dream of. And I remember seeing the ingredients and flipping it over because my mind was already into toxic free living, but I'm like, but you just can't do that in the beauty industry because you still need the results, right? And I was floored as the results I was getting with my clients, floored by the results I was getting with myself, floored by the results that I was getting in general. And I just knew other people had to know about these beautiful, beautiful oils. And now I'm a natural giver and I'm a natural sharer. So I did start sharing a bit of what I learned and what I knew. And it just came naturally. I found myself giving away oils. I found myself doing, and people wanted to know more. And so from my spa, I started teaching and educating. And that stemmed into a lot of what I do now, working with small businesses from a marketing and social media standpoint, because what I realized is there were so many holes in the beauty industry. And when I was on bed rest with my son, if I didn't touch people, I didn't make money. And I knew that in this industry, if we didn't understand the power of creating experiences and the power of properly leveraging retail, we don't make it and we don't survive. And so the beautiful thing about the way I structure small businesses or support small businesses is to help them incorporate these beautiful, beautiful oils and supplements in their practice to elevate the experience, as well as give their clients something to continue after they leave their presence. And so that was a bit of how I was introduced to Young Living, how I incorporated it in my practice. But now I want to talk a little bit about some of the obstacles I faced in my Young Living journey. So for me, what I realized is I didn't see people like me. And so I started following because I wanted to get the education, and all I saw was pretty little white girls. And more power to you, love you to death. But for me, if I didn't see anyone like me, I didn't know if this was a place, if there is a place for me. Is this where I'm supposed to be? And so for me, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will chat a little bit more about what I saw, my story. But before we get into that, I just want you to really know, maybe you are at a space when you're like, I know I need to make some health changes. I know I need to make some transformations, but it just seems too hard. I get it. I was there and I totally understand. I have a bundle for you, and it's the Get Motivated bundle. You will find it in the show notes. This bundle is all about setting intentions and your mindset. It is a set of oils that are really, really going to help you hone in on how to start with your motivation. As soon as you purchase it, I will send you a download, a free guide that's going to walk you through step by step exactly how to use that bundle and how you can stay just a little bit more motivated when you are trying to make these small little health changes step by step by step. I truly believe that essential oils are the most powerful way to reset and correct when it comes to mindset, when it comes to challenges with our emotions and attitude. So check that out. You will absolutely enjoy it. And I can't wait to be your guide. Be sure to let me know which bundle you choose. I will also have a few other bundles that just for the changing season, you might actually also enjoy. But with that, back to the show. A challenge. I said, I don't see people like me. I'm struggling with a lot of the conversations that I'm having. So, what can I do to create something beautiful enough that will allow me to have that leverage? And so that's what I did. So, because I came from the beauty industry, the first thing I did was, hey, I need to transition some things when it comes to my hair care. So let me start doing research. Let me start incorporating these oils. And that's why I think I might have it next to me, y'all. Hold on. And that's why my book was developed. Okay. So if you're not familiar with my book, Kinky LOCS, make sure you get a copy. It's on Amazon. You can get it directly from my website. But that's how this book was birthed. It was birthed from the space that I knew that if I was speaking about young living and I was speaking about these oils and I was speaking about something, I needed to have a tool. I needed to have a tool that I can put in the hands of people that look like me, right? Because we might not understand the importance when it comes to a health and wellness standpoint. But you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our hair done, right? We're gonna get our nails done. We're gonna take care of our bodies and our appearance. And so I created Kinky LOCS as a resource to incorporate the oils, to teach and educate uh, our communities. And it was an obstacle, right? I had to overcome a lot of my own negativities. I had to overcome not seeing myself and realizing, and I want you to think about this too. If you don't see yourself in a space, that might be your sign to create that space, right? The door that wasn't existing, you might have to build it. Build the table and they will come. And the more I hear stories of people that say, I came into Young Living, I didn't see people that look like me. I saw your book and I was like, there's one, right? That warms my heart because I know that me going through that effort, overcoming that obstacle, it created space for other people to be seen. When I look at Young Living, there's many things that I would love to see evolve and love to see grow. And that's why too, I wanted to really start this series. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys hear this from beginning all the way to the end and you share this message because I'm like, corporate ever hears any of these messages. I want them to hear our heart. I want them to know that not seeing yourself or feeling excluded, even when it's not intentional, is a hard place to be. So I would love to see more people and more effort to really share our stories, really get us in front of more spaces. And so that more people can be drawn to want to collaborate with us, to want to purchase from us, right? Many stories you hear about people finding Young Living through YouTube or online or social media and things like that. It would be a beautiful thing to see us more represented and to see us in more spaces, to hear what things that we need and we're longing for and we want to see in the industry. Those are some of the things that I would love to see change in Young Living. And I believe that we're getting there, but there needs to be more voices. There needs to be more unity. One of the other obstacles and things that I would love to see changed is I would love to see a camaraderie amongst our own people. Some of the time, for me, one of the hardest spaces to be in or the hardest places to grow was within my own, right? Because we're not supporting each other. I'm out here. Do you, if you're in my community or not in my community, do you share my book, right? Do you share these resources? Do you share the videos? Do you share? Because the more that happens, the more people will be able to find this information or know that this information is out there. And if you're hosting classes, can I support it? Can I send people? Can I send things? Can I send gifts? Right? I would love to see that change. I would love to see more community, more unity, more love, more support for each other. What advice would I give to anyone starting in your journey? So first I'll talk a little bit about that wellness piece. So if you are sitting here and you're saying, I've gotten this diagnosis, I'm looking in the mirror and seeing this in myself, I'm tired, I'm mentally fatigued, I'm stressed out, my anxiety's on 10, I'm depressed, I'm struggling here, I'm struggling there. Some of these big C's that keep coming around, they're not going away. And so, what I would say to you, if you're starting in your journey, tap into community. Tap into the people that are actually making the changes, not the people that you grew up with, not the people you related to, that when you go to the social gatherings are going to still be eating, drinking, and speaking the toxic way that you're trying to get away from, right? When you start moving to change, you start attracting other people that are there for change. And so plug into community, show up actively, so that you can start making those small, teeny changes, right? It doesn't have to be this overwhelming thing. You can make small, 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 small changes every single day that's going to lead to big results in your life. So, the last thing I really, really want to emphasize and talk about next year, so 2024, is going to be Young Living's 30-year celebration. Every single convention I have been present, every single convention. This last convention is the first one that I only did virtual, other than the ones during COVID. But I would never, ever, ever miss a convention. I remember my very, very first convention, and I love telling this story because I really want people to hear not only my heart, but I want you to hear that anything is possible. Anything is possible. So the very first convention that we went to, I don't think we were in Young Living more than a couple months. And it was announced that convention was coming up. I want to say that June. We may have started kind of, or no, it was coming up in like July, June or July. And we may have started maybe in April. And, or maybe it was the following year. Don't quote me on this. But regardless, we had just got started. We were getting more regular and using the oils and using the products and really understanding them, educating ourselves. And I bought 2 Young Living convention tickets. They went on sale. I scraped up all of what I had. I think I did a little bit of extra at the spa because money wasn't flowing like that for us at the time. Everything was a struggle. I really had to sacrifice things in order to get what I knew was going to be more beneficial for our family. And so I scraped up 2 tickets, but I had no other means of fitting the bill for the rest of the stuff. So I had no way of figuring out where we were going to stay. I didn't know how we were going to get there. I just knew I had these 2 tickets. And I approached my husband and I said, we got to go together, right? I don't want to go by myself. I have these tickets. I don't know how we're going to get there. And he looks at me and he said, I don't know either because we don't have any money. And I remember praying on it because I knew that I had to get there in person. I knew I had to get there in person. I didn't know why I had such a strong inclination to get there in person, but I knew I needed to get there in person. And so I prayed on it. So years prior, and I'm talking maybe 4 or 5 years prior, I had worked at Costco. And when I worked at Costco, you received a free, well, not free, let me clarify. You received a membership. You didn't pay for your membership, and it was attached to, at the time, an American Express credit card. Okay. Now, granted, I have learned my lesson about credit. I'm not a big advocate for credit now, but just hear me out because this is how things work when you get yourself in alignment and you make a commitment and say, I'm going to do it. Okay. So I remember at that time, I get a notice in the mail that said, hey, we're switching over to, let's say, Visa, MasterCard. I don't really remember, to be honest, but we were leaving American Express. We're going over to this other credit. We're going to reissue a line of credit for you. And I was like, oh, this is a mistake because I haven't worked for Costco in 4 or 5 years. And so I already closed all of my accounts. There's no way that this credit is for me. I called Costco. I said, I'm no longer working for Young Living. For Costco. I'm not really sure what this notice means. And they said, okay, well, if they send you a card and it works, cool. If they don't, there's nothing that we need to do on our end. And you can just leave it like that. And I said, okay. And literally the week we needed to leave for Utah, we received this credit card. This credit card with a balance that allowed us to get our airfare, which at the time was even more expensive because we were so close to it, and also book our hotel. So we, on the flight there, booked a hotel, had no clue where we were going to stay. But what we did is we got ourselves in line. And I want you to hear that because if there is any inclination in you pushing back as to why you shouldn't go for the 30 years, I want you to think about that. When I tell you my life is transformed every single time I go, I have never gone to a Young Living convention and regretted it, ever. And I'm a type of person, I'm introverted. I have social anxiety. I don't like crowds in any form or fashion, right? But the education and what I leave every single year, visiting the farms, touching the soil, getting the education, I am transformed. I am a better mother. I am a better wife. I am a better business leader. I am better in wellness. I am better in every aspect of my life. And I attribute it to attending convention in person. It makes a difference being there in the person. It makes a difference being there in that energy. And I recommend every single person at least go once or twice. Because whether you are just trying to educate yourself in the products or the wellness portion, or you're just trying to educate yourself in the business, there is something for everyone. What I appreciated the most about Young Living, it wasn't a fanfare for we make this amount of money and we're this and we're that. What it truly was a focus on community, giving, in wellness, learning those three pillars. And so I leave you with that because if you are on the fence about going, we are going to have an amazing time this year. We're renting a house, we have space, we're going to have a good time. Plan ahead, right? You have almost 10 months to plan ahead, to set aside little pennies here, little pennies there. Whether you want to make a road trip out of it, we've driven all the way cross country, had a ball. We've taken our kids, we've not taken our kids. It is truly the most impactful trip of my entire year. Utah is beautiful in general. I can't even think of any place I've been in the world that I love as much as Utah. I've been to many places that share a place in my heart, but truly impactful and amazing. So that's a little bit about my story. Again, stay tuned. You will hear more stories each week. We will roll out something exclusive for you. You're not going to want to miss this. Make sure you stay tuned, subscribe. You can see all of the replays on YouTube, as well as these live streams. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I can't wait to celebrate all of the good things with you. Take care, guys, and make it a good one.